Number 1. Cultural shocks in Australia. You might be able to speak English perfectly, but just a few minutes of conversation with an Australian will make you feel like you're learning the language all over again. This isn't because you're bad at English. It's because Australians have their own unique way of speaking known as Strayan. They often drop syllables, blend words together, and especially shorten everything they can. Afternoon becomes avo, station turns into servo. A bottle shop is called a bottle O, McDonald's is referred to as Macca's, and Facebook is shortened to Facey. This way of speaking can leave many tourists confused when shopping or ordering food. Therefore, familiarizing yourself with local slang through apps like Australian Slang or Bluebird before arriving will help you integrate more easily. In Australia, there is also a social rule that foreigners can easily overlook. Suppose you just landed in Sydney and took a taxi or Uber to your hotel. In many other countries like the US or the UK, you would open the back door and sit alone in the back seat. However, in Australia, this action is seen as unfriendly, even somewhat arrogant. The driver might think you're treating them as a servant. So, if you're traveling alone, it's best to sit in the front seat next to the driver. This not only shows equality, but also creates an opportunity for a pleasant conversation throughout the ride. One thing that shocks many tourists upon arriving in Australia is the sheer number of flies. They are attracted to sweat and moisture on the human body, especially around the eyes, nose, and mouth. Because of this, Australians have a habit of constantly waving their hands in front of their faces to shoo away flies, and this sight is so common that you'll even see the Prime Minister doing it during televised speeches. If you try to maintain a serious image and refrain from waving, there's a good chance you'll accidentally swallow a few flies without realizing it, effectively adding a bit of natural protein to your diet. At parties in Australia, you might encounter a rather unbelievable celebration custom, drinking beer from a shoe. This ritual is called a shoey and is considered a cultural symbol of celebration among Australians. The more significant the achievement, the older and smellier the shoe used for drinking beer tends to be. The shoey gained global attention when Australian Formula One driver Daniel Ricciardo performed this ritual right on the podium during a victory ceremony. Australians also have a particular fondness for going barefoot. In many places, this habit is so common that stores have to put up signs requesting customers to wear shoes to reduce cleaning costs. When they are restricted from going barefoot, they switch to flip-flops. Australians seem to have a long-standing grudge against shoes, to the extent that there are brands that produce flip-flops specifically for weddings or formal events, viewing them as a comfortable yet sufficiently polite option. Number 2. How sparse is Australia? Australia is the only country on the planet that fully occupies a separate continent. With an area of approximately 7.88 million square kilometers, it ranks 6th in the world in terms of land size. An interesting detail that few people know is that the entire moon could fit within Australia's territory. The moon has a diameter of about 3,400 kilometers, while the distance from Australia's easternmost point, Byron Bay, to its westernmost point, Shark Bay, exceeds 4,000 kilometers, enough to encompass Earth's natural satellite. However, in stark contrast to its vast area, Australia's population is relatively sparse. As of 2024, the country has about 28 million inhabitants, a number comparable to a U.S. state like Texas. The average density is only about 3.5 people per square kilometer, making it the second lowest in the world, surpassed only by Mongolia. If we consider only the land that is actually inhabited, it accounts for less than 1% of the territory, specifically around 0.62%, which is equivalent to the area of the Dominican Republic. The primary reason for the sparse population is its isolated geographical position, almost completely detached from the rest of the world. When looking at a map, you will see that Australia's only neighbor is the ocean. Australia boasts over 10,000 beaches, and if you wanted to visit one each day, it would take nearly 30 years to see them all. Due to this isolation, Australia was the last inhabited continent to be discovered by Europeans. While the Americas were settled as early as the 16th century, it wasn't until the 19th century that the British officially arrived and established a colony there. The harsh climate also poses a significant barrier to population growth. Nearly 70% of the territory is desert or semi-arid land, where summer temperatures can exceed 43 degrees Celsius. This makes Australia the second largest dry land area in the world, surpassed only by Antarctica. Additionally, being entirely in the southern hemisphere, the weather here is opposite to that of most countries in the northern hemisphere. While much of the world celebrates Christmas in the cold, Australians are enjoying the summer sun on vibrant beaches. During World War II, Australia endured a series of air raids by Japan. The government realized that a country with just over 7 million people at the time could not defend itself against a nation of over 70 million like Japan. Consequently, the issue of a small population was seen as a serious threat to national security and long-term development. This awareness prompted the government to implement immigration policies aimed at increasing the population. And to this day, Australia maintains an average annual influx of about 200,000 immigrants. Number 3. The alluring women who are exploited. Australia is known as one of the most influential countries in global beauty pageants. Women here often embody a blend of modern and natural beauty, characterized by bright skin, platinum or light brown hair, high cheekbones, and sharp features typical of Northern European genetics. According to data from the Australian Bureau of Statistics, the participation rate of women in sports in this country is among the highest in developed nations. Thanks to their active lifestyle and regular exercise, they possess balanced, strong, and alluring physiques. This beauty has helped Australian women achieve significant success on the world beauty map, with 8 crowns from major competitions. Names like Miranda Kerr, Margot Robbie, and Cate Blanchett have become symbols of global beauty and style. However, behind this perfect image lies a darker reality. In 2022, the Western Australia Parliament released a report over 200 pages long, exposing widespread harassment and sexual abuse in the mining industry. The report described this as a national shame. Survey results from major mining corporations like Rio Tinto and BHP revealed that 2/3 of women had experienced harassment while working in mines, with many incidents leading to criminal investigations. The mining industry has over 80% male workers, most of whom live in socially isolated communal housing, creating an environment conducive to unethical behavior. This issue sparked outrage in public opinion and forced major corporations like Rio Tinto, BHP, and Fortescue to publicly apologize. The Australian government has also established a hotline dedicated to receiving and supporting victims of sexual assault. In romantic relationships, Australian women are known for their independence, confidence, and willingness to express their feelings when they genuinely like someone. According to Australian Women's Weekly, over 70% of Australian women believe that splitting the bill on a date is completely normal. They value equality in relationships, are loyal, but also very rational. When they feel a relationship no longer brings happiness, they are ready to walk away without hesitation. A report from ABC Spain in 2023 indicated that about 1/3 of Australian women are still single. Meanwhile, statistics from the National Bureau of Statistics show that nearly 40% of marriages in Australia are between Indigenous women and foreign men, primarily from the US, Canada, and Italy. This figure clearly reflects the open-mindedness and modern lifestyle of Australian women as they increasingly embrace multicultural love. Would you like to know how to make an Australian girl swoon? Leave a comment with the number 3, and I will share the details with you. Number 4, the dark side of Australia. Australia is the country with the highest density of gambling machines in the world, accounting for 20% of the total number of machines globally, despite its population being less than 0.5% of the world's total. The reason lies in the policy that allows gambling machines, commonly known as Pokies, to be installed not only in casinos but also in bars, hotels, sports clubs, and even many public areas. Approximately 80% of adults in Australia have participated in at least one form of betting, a figure that is significantly higher than the global average. Initially, this activity was seen as a legitimate form of entertainment, but over time, it has become a concerning social issue as the number of gambling addicts has rapidly increased. Research conducted over the past decade shows that the number of Australians facing gambling-related problems has doubled. On average, 1 in 6 people suffers from severe addiction, spending about $14,000 each year on games of chance. Between 2009 and 2016, numerous reports from the Australian National University and the Victorian Court of Inquiry concluded that the Pokie system was a direct cause of many cases of domestic violence, debt, and financial crime. Alarmingly, the majority of victims are young people aged 17 to 24. Although this industry remains legal and generates enormous revenue, the Australian government has begun to tighten regulations. Some states have enacted rules limiting the operating hours of machines, requiring the integration of alerts when players overspend, or automatically disconnecting after a certain period. These measures aim to mitigate negative impacts and help players control their behavior. In addition to their gambling obsession, Australians are also known for their drinking habits. According to the World Health Organization, the average Australian consumes about 10 liters of pure alcohol each year, double the global average. More than 25% of teenagers aged 15 to 17 admit to having drunk to the point of losing control. This stems from Australia being among the top 5 wine-producing countries in the world, making access to alcoholic beverages extremely easy. According to Ibis World, by 2025, Australia is expected to have around 7,000 pubs. On average, there is one pub for every 4,000 people, which is significantly higher than the ratio of one pub for every 30,000 people in the United States. And of course, no one walks into a pub just to order water. As a result, thousands of Australians die each year from alcohol-related causes, ranging from traffic accidents and domestic violence to chronic diseases such as cancer and cirrhosis. The government spends tens of billions of dollars each year to address these consequences. Nevertheless, the situation is showing signs of improvement. The average alcohol consumption has now decreased to about 8.6 liters per person per year. Young Australians are reported to be increasingly abandoning excessive drinking habits in favor of healthier beverages like juice or non-alcoholic soda. Number 5. Interesting facts about the political world. In Australia, all citizens aged 18 and over are required to vote in national and local elections. The country even has electoral districts that span up to 1.6 million square kilometers to ensure that citizens fully exercise their rights. However, interestingly, Australians seem to show more interest in reality cooking shows than in politics. In 2020, when a debate between prime ministerial candidates was scheduled to air during prime time at 7:30 p.m., the broadcaster had to move the program up an hour to make way for the MasterChef finale. According to surveys, over 4 million viewers stated they would choose to watch MasterChef instead of the political debate, forcing organizers to change the broadcast schedule to retain their audience. Australian politics is also notable for the presence of a political party with a curious name, the Sex Party. Founded in 2009, this party quickly attracted attention not only for its name but also for its bold policies. They support the legalization of certain banned substances, allow terminally ill patients to choose euthanasia, and call for the repeal of laws restricting pornography, abortion, and taxation on religious organizations. Another interesting fact is that Australia's first police force was formed from former prisoners. When it was a British penal colony, the country faced security issues due to a rapidly growing population. Bringing police from England was nearly impossible due to the long distance. In response to this situation, Governor Arthur Phillip selected 12 of the best-behaved inmates to establish the first police force in Sydney in 1789. Surprisingly, this model proved effective, as no one understands crime better than those who have lived in that world. The political history of Australia also records many strange stories about its leaders. The most famous case is Prime Minister Harold Holt, who had a particular fondness for swimming. In 1967, he went to Cheviot Beach as usual and then completely disappeared. Despite a large-scale search campaign, no trace of him was ever found. To commemorate the unfortunate Prime Minister, the people of Australia decided to build a facility in his name. Ironically, it turned out to be a swimming center rather than a memorial or statue, as is customary. Indeed, not many people feel comfortable learning to swim at a place named after a drowned prime minister. If you think you have the courage to try that experience, comment with the number 4. If not, comment with the number 5. Number 6. How interesting is Animal Planet from Australia? When Australia is mentioned, the first image that comes to mind for many people is undoubtedly the kangaroo. This national symbol was chosen for a special reason. They cannot move backward, only forward, symbolizing the relentless spirit of progress among Australians. According to data from the Australian Environment Agency, the The country currently has over 50 million kangaroos, nearly double its own population. As a result, kangaroos can be seen everywhere, from the plains to the highways. However, if you spot them in a supermarket, rest assured, they are not shoppers but rather meat displayed in the freezer. When the kangaroo population surged too quickly and disrupted the ecological balance, the government surprisingly allowed their meat to be used as food. Initially, this decision faced considerable opposition, but public opinion shifted when people realized that kangaroo meat is flavorful and highly nutritious. Today, Australians regard it as an essential local delicacy. Another equally famous native creature of Australia is the platypus. The story of this animal is so intriguing that many liken it to a joke of creation. It is said that after growing tired of creating familiar creatures, God decided to try something new. He combined features from three groups of animals: birds, mammals, and reptiles, resulting in a mixed creature with a peculiar appearance, a body resembling a beaver, and legs and a bill like a duck. When the platypus was first discovered in 1798, scientists even thought someone had sewn a duckbill onto a dead beaver. They searched for the connection for many years before officially recognizing it as a distinct species in the natural world. The platypus seems to live by the philosophy of no one can guess what I will do next. Although classified as a mammal, it does not have true mammary glands. Instead, milk is secreted through the skin, and the young lick it directly to feed. This species lays eggs and incubates them like birds, but moves like a reptile. Interestingly, they have a bill but lack teeth or a stomach, leaving many researchers wondering how they grind their food. While most mammals carry only 2 sex chromosomes, the platypus possesses up to 10, allowing them to express up to 25 different gender types. It's hard not to chuckle at the thought that Disney chose this quirky creature as a character in the animated film about a boy with a triangular-shaped head. Number 7. Australia and interesting facts. You have probably heard of the Great Wall of China, the massive structure built to prevent the advance of the Mongols. However, few people know that Australia also has a wall that is even longer, known as the Dingo Fence. Stretching a remarkable 5,614 kilometers, it is the longest continuous fence in the world. If laid out straight, it would surpass the distance from London to New York. Yet, the purpose of this construction is not to fend off invading armies, but simply to keep wild dingoes from encroaching on livestock areas in southern Australia. Perhaps this is why the dingo fence is not as famous as the Great Wall, despite its impressive scale. Another interesting anecdote relates to the city of Melbourne. Few are aware that in its early years, it was almost named Batmania. While it may sound like a reference to the superhero Batman, the name actually comes from the city's founder, John Batman. He proposed using his own surname to name the new settlement. However, this proposal was quickly rejected, and the city was renamed Melbourne in honor of Lord Melbourne, the British Prime Minister at the time. Had John Batman's idea been approved, the residents of the city today would have a rather unique name: Batmans. As for the capital of Australia, many people mistakenly believe it to be Sydney or Melbourne. The truth is that the capital of this country is Canberra. Interestingly, Canberra was not chosen for being an economic center or having a prominent location, but simply as a result of a showdown between Sydney and Melbourne. In the early 20th century, both of the country's largest cities wanted to become the capital, and to resolve the dispute, the government decided to select a neutral area, not belonging to either side, to build the new city. That is how Canberra came to be. At that time, it was just an empty stretch of land, and the government had to spend around $10 billion to plan and develop it, making it one of the most expensive capitals in modern history. Number 8. Animal-related disasters. The Emu War of 1932 is considered one of the strangest events in Australian history. It began when tens of thousands of emus descended upon the wheat-growing regions of Western Australia, causing severe damage to farmers. Emus are the second largest flightless birds in the world, standing nearly 2 meters tall, weighing around 60 kilograms, and capable of running at speeds close to 50 kilometers per hour. With their voracious appetites and rapid reproduction, they quickly devastated the fields, leaving hundreds of households in distress. In response to this situation, the government ordered the Australian Army to intervene in an attempt to control these troublesome birds. However, the campaign did not go as planned. The emus proved to be extremely clever, breaking into smaller groups to escape rather than moving in flocks. Over the course of 38 days, soldiers managed to kill fewer than 1,000 out of an estimated 20,000 emus. On average, it took about 10 bullets to bring down a single bird. The operation was costly, yet the results were minimal, leading the military to declare a withdrawal. Since then, Australia has become the only country in modern history to be defeated by a bird species. Following this failure, the government shifted its strategy, providing farmers with weapons so they could protect their crops themselves. Today, emus still inhabit Australia widely, but their numbers are strictly managed, and they no longer cause large-scale damage as they once did. The story of the cane toad disaster is also a bitter ecological lesson for Australia. In 1935, the government decided to import 102 cane toads from Hawaii, hoping they would help eliminate a beetle that was damaging sugarcane plantations. However, the plan quickly collapsed because the beetles lived on the plant stems, while the cane toads only operated on the ground. Instead of controlling the beetles, they turned to eating any creatures they could catch, from insects and reptiles to small animals. With no natural predators and possessing a potent toxin in their glands, cane toads proliferated explosively. From the initial 100, their numbers surged to over 200 million in just a few decades. They spread throughout Queensland, causing mass deaths among native species such as snakes, crocodiles, marsupials, and even domestic dogs when they came into contact with their toxins. The Australian government invested hundreds of millions of dollars in research and development of control measures, such as building fences, setting traps, and even testing biological control methods, but these efforts yielded little success. Today, this event is still referenced in ecological courses as a classic example of the severe mistakes that can occur when humans intervene in nature without understanding the balance of ecosystems. Number 9. The event that haunts the Australian maritime industry. Nearly 400 years ago, the waters off the western coast of Australia witnessed a maritime tragedy that the world cannot forget: the sinking of the Batavia. This ship belonged to the Dutch East India Company and set sail from the port of Texel on the 27th of October, 1628, on a journey to Batavia, part of the Dutch East Indies, now known as Jakarta, Indonesia. During its ocean crossing, as it approached the area near the Houtman Abrolhos archipelago, the Batavia encountered a serious accident and sank. There were a total of 341 people on board, of whom about 300 managed to swim to a nearby small island called Beacon Island, while the rest perished at sea. One of the survivors was Captain Francisco Pelsaert. With food and fresh water on the island nearly depleted, he decided to take a small boat back to Batavia with a group of sailors to seek help. Before leaving, Pelsaert entrusted the management of the surviving group to his deputy, Geronimus Cornelis, a decision that would later prove to be a fatal mistake. While awaiting rescue, Cornelis gradually took control of Beacon Island and turned it into a nightmarish place. He and his accomplices instigated psychological terror, confiscated food supplies, and systematically murdered many passengers. The vulnerable were eliminated, and those who resisted were executed, plunging the small island into chaos and fear. When Francisco Pelsaert returned with the rescue team, he discovered the horrifying truth of what had transpired during his absence. Cornelis and 6 of his closest associates were quickly arrested and executed according to the maritime laws of the time. After all the events, only 122 survivors remained from the original 341 people on the Batavia. To this day, the sinking of the Batavia is regarded as one of the most haunting maritime tragedies in Australian history. This story has become a source of material for numerous research books, documentaries, and films worldwide, reflecting the darker side of humanity in extreme survival circumstances. Number 10. The most mysterious places in Australia. Lake Hillier is nestled on Middle Island off the coast of Western Australia, almost completely isolated from the outside world. Viewed from above, its surface shimmers with an unusual deep pink hue, resembling a scene where someone has deliberately poured dye into the midst of a wild natural landscape. What surprises many is that this pink color does not change with the seasons, is unaffected by light, and does not disappear when water is taken from the lake. While many other pink lakes around the world change color at certain times, Hillier maintains a remarkably stable pink that is difficult to explain. Scientists believe this phenomenon is related to salt-loving microorganisms and the algae Dunaliella salina that produce the pigment, but the density of these organisms recorded is still insufficient to explain the intensity and richness of the water's color. Research sampling at the lake is also limited due to the area being strictly protected, allowing scientists to access it only under very restricted conditions and with a small number of samples. To date, the lake's color has not been accurately replicated in laboratory conditions. Because it is located in a strictly protected area, visitors can only observe the lake from the air, and the common feeling is often one of mild confusion, as if witnessing a natural moment that defies all familiar rules. The Nullarbor Desert stretches between South Australia and Western Australia, where one can drive for hours with the landscape remaining virtually unchanged. By day, this land appears barren and quiet, but at night, Nullarbor reveals a different face. Many who have camped here report hearing low sounds emanating from the ground, resembling moans, long echoes, or indistinct melodies. There are no strong winds, no large animals capable of producing such sounds, and the surrounding space is a vast, silent expanse. A popular hypothesis suggests that beneath the desert lies a vast system of limestone caves where air moves and creates sound resonance. However, maps of the underground caves in Nullarbor have not been thoroughly surveyed, and there is still no convincing explanation for why the sounds can be prolonged at times and abruptly cut off as if intentionally. In the near absolute silence of the desert, these noises make it difficult for listeners to distinguish between natural phenomena and the reactions of their own feelings of solitude. Number 11. Famous tourist destinations. The Sydney Opera House is located at Bennelong Point in Sydney, New South Wales, and was inaugurated in 1973 after more than 14 years of construction. Designed by Danish architect Jørn Utzon, it is distinguished by its iconic shell-like roof, which gives it a modern, elegant appearance that is easily recognizable from afar. This is one of the world's major performing arts venues, featuring various functional spaces such as the concert hall, opera theater, and drama theater. The Sydney Opera House regularly hosts opera performances, symphonic concerts, and international cultural events, playing a central role in the artistic life of the city. Leaving this iconic architectural masterpiece, the journey to explore Australia continues towards the ocean. Next, the Great Barrier Reef lies off the coast of Queensland and is the largest coral reef system in the world, recognized by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site since 1981. This area includes over 2,900 reefs and about 900 islands, serving as a habitat for thousands of marine species. Visitors often depart from Cairns or Airlie Beach to go diving, snorkeling, or taking glass-bottom boat tours. The vibrant colors of the coral and tropical fish create a lively and overwhelming experience from the very first encounter. As one leaves the blue waters, the experience in Australia gradually shifts to the arid lands of the central continent. When visiting Australia, Uluru is a must-see destination. This rock formation is located in Uluru Kata Tjuta National Park in the Northern Territory and rises about 348 meters above the surrounding ground. Uluru holds special spiritual significance for the indigenous Anangu people, intertwined with traditional Dreamtime stories. The rock's surface is a deep red color that changes shades with the light throughout the day, evoking a sense of solemnity and tranquility. Visitors are encouraged to walk around the base of the rock along designated paths to learn about indigenous culture rather than climbing to the top. From the sacred space of the desert, the journey gradually becomes more vibrant as it heads towards the southern urban areas. Melbourne is the capital of Victoria and is regarded as the cultural, artistic, and educational hub of Australia. The city boasts a well-developed public transport system along with numerous museums, theaters, and creative spaces. Melbourne is famous for its coffee culture, where artisanal roasteries serve as daily social meeting points. The alleys in the city center are dedicated to street art, providing a youthful and urban character. As one departs from this creative environment, the journey returns to the beach and a relaxing atmosphere. Finally, the Gold Coast is located in the southern part of Queensland and is one of Australia's most famous beach tourist destinations. This area features a long coastline with wide sandy beaches and consistent waves, ideal for surfing and water sports. Surfers' Paradise is the vibrant center, filled with hotels, shopping areas, and entertainment activities. Inland, the Gold Coast also has national parks with rainforests and waterfalls, offering a sense of relaxation and balance for visitors. Thanks to its warm climate year-round, The Gold Coast has become a popular destination for leisure tourism combined with outdoor activities. Number 12. Unique festivals that travelers should know about. Sydney New Year's Eve is considered one of the most spectacular New Year celebrations in the world, leaving a strong impression on many visitors to Australia. On the night of December 31, the Sydney Harbour area becomes the focal point of lights, sounds, and anticipation. The highlight of the event is the grand fireworks display launched from the Sydney Harbour Bridge and the Sydney Opera House, creating a dazzling scene reflected on the water. Before the stroke of midnight, visitors can enjoy outdoor concerts, stroll around the harbour, or opt for a cruise to savor dinner while watching the fireworks from a unique perspective. The open and vibrant atmosphere makes it easy for everyone to join in the festive joy. The Melbourne Cup offers a different flavor by combining sports, fashion, and entertainment in one event. At the heart of the festival is the famous horse race held at Flemington Racecourse, attracting tens of thousands of spectators who follow each thrilling race. However, the Melbourne Cup is not just for horse racing enthusiasts. Visitors also pay attention to the elegant outfits and meticulously crafted hats that adorn the festival space. Surrounding the racetrack are areas for dining, music, and gourmet food, creating an atmosphere that is both lively and luxurious. Vivid Sydney is an opportunity for visitors to explore art and creativity in the nighttime setting. For several weeks, the city of Sydney transforms into a vibrant display thanks to colorful light installations. Familiar landmarks like the Sydney Opera House and historic buildings are illuminated with modern projection technology, becoming dynamic works of art in the heart of the city. Visitors can leisurely stroll the streets, take photos, and experience the transformation of their surroundings. Alongside this are musical performances and exhibitions of creative ideas, providing a sense of relaxation while sparking curiosity. NAIDOC Week is a time for visitors to engage with the cultural depth of Australia through activities that honor Indigenous communities. Throughout the week, numerous events are held across the country to showcase the history, traditions, and spiritual values of Aboriginal people. Visitors can watch traditional dances, listen to distinctive music, and learn about the significance of each story being told. Art exhibitions, crafts, and interactive activities help participants feel a deeper connection between people, nature, and Indigenous culture. Number 13. Famous dishes. When in need of a quick meal while moving between the central neighborhoods, a meat pie is often a familiar choice in Australia. This pastry features a sealed crust filled with slow-cooked beef, onions, and a thick gravy. In bakeries across Sydney and Melbourne, meat pies are kept warm in display cases throughout the day. Each time the case is opened, the warm air wafts out, carrying the aroma of baked pastry and meat. This dish is typically enjoyed at lunchtime, eaten by hand, often accompanied by ketchup, and served hot. If you need an extra boost with a cup of coffee, I would recommend a flat white. It is made from espresso and steamed milk, topped with a thin layer of froth. This drink is popular in the small cafes along Brunswick Street in Melbourne. It's hard to describe the flavor of a flat white, but it truly offers a delightful experience. As you move north, the cuisine shifts to reflect the local seafood. Barramundi is a popular brackish waterfish, usually cleaned and grilled with just the right amount of salt. Riverfront restaurants in Darwin use fish caught that very day. When the fish hits the grill, the sound of fat dripping onto the flames creates a steady crackle. Barramundi often appears at dinner and is served with seasonal vegetables from the tropical climate. In the southern suburbs, sweet treats are often tied to community life. Lamingtons are square sponge cakes coated in chocolate and rolled in desiccated coconut. These cakes are sold in bakeries in Adelaide and feature prominently in many local fundraising events. As the cakes are arranged on metal trays, bits of coconut scatter across the table. Lamingtons are typically enjoyed during afternoon tea or at school events. On weekends, dining spaces often extend outside large stores. A sausage sizzle consists of grilled sausages placed in slices of white bread, topped with grilled onions and either tomato sauce or mustard. This dish is commonly found outside supermarkets in the suburbs of Sydney on weekends. The smoke from the gas grill lightly fills the air, carrying the scent of grilled onions. Sausage sizzles are often sold to raise funds for local groups and are eaten on the spot. Number 14. Tips for travelers. When traveling in Australia, international visitors need to be particularly vigilant against increasingly sophisticated scams. The most common are fake hotel websites, tour packages, or travel tickets offered at unusually low prices, which require upfront payment but then fail to deliver any services. In major cities like Sydney and Melbourne, there have also been instances of fake QR codes being placed on parking payment machines or public information boards, directing users to unofficial payment pages to steal card information. To mitigate risks, travelers should use secure payment methods, avoid clicking on links from unknown sources, and prioritize booking services through reputable platforms with positive reviews. Regarding personal safety, it is important to note that Australia is vast, with a low population density and significant distances between destinations. When driving interstate or exploring remote areas, incidents such as car breakdowns or getting lost can become dangerous due to a lack of water, high temperatures, and no mobile reception. Travelers should prepare sufficient drinking water, non-perishable food, backup batteries, and clearly inform relatives or their accommodation of their itinerary. Driving on the left side of the road can also be a challenge for many, especially at roundabouts and busy intersections, requiring high levels of concentration. Health safety in Australia requires proactivity due to high levels of ultraviolet radiation year-round. Just a short exposure to sunlight can lead to severe skin burns if proper protection is not used. Travelers should apply high SPF sunscreen before going outside, reapply every few hours, wear wide-brimmed hats, and limit outdoor activities during midday hours. Additionally, medical costs in Australia can be quite high, so purchasing travel insurance that includes health coverage is essential to avoid financial risks. Australia's natural environment is diverse but also poses many dangers if one is not informed. Some beaches have strong rip currents that can pull swimmers away from shore, while many species of jellyfish and marine creatures with venom appear seasonally. On land, venomous snakes and spiders can be found in parks, camping areas, and even suburban neighborhoods. Travelers should swim in areas with lifeguards, pay attention to warning signs, and absolutely avoid contact with wildlife. In the social environment, visitors need to understand that Australia has strict laws regarding public order and personal safety. Excessive drinking can make travelers targets for theft or dangerous situations at night. In bars and festivals, there have been reports of substances being slipped into drinks, so travelers should keep an eye on their beverages and avoid accepting drinks from strangers. Furthermore, adhering to local laws and maintaining a polite attitude while respecting personal space will contribute to a safer and smoother trip. Number 15. Living expenses. If you are considering traveling, studying, or living long-term in Australia, understanding the cost of living is an essential step in your preparation. In major cities like Sydney and Melbourne, overall expenses tend to be quite high, but specific figures can vary depending on your area of residence and individual spending habits. In the city center, the rent for a one-bedroom apartment typically ranges from $1,600 to $2,200 per month. If you choose to live further away from the center, especially in suburbs or satellite cities, rental costs can drop to around $1,100 to $1,400 for the same period. This difference allows many people to adjust their budgets more easily, especially international students or those just starting their lives in Australia. Public transportation in Australia is considered convenient, with options such as trains, buses, and subways. Each short trip usually costs between $2.50 and $4, depending on the city and distance traveled. Using weekly or monthly passes can help reduce average costs and is suitable for those who commute frequently. For those needing flexibility, taxis and ride-sharing apps like Uber are popular choices. A short trip within the city typically costs between $8 and $15. Additionally, renting a car to explore the suburbs or coastal routes is quite common, with costs around $40 to $60 per day, excluding fuel. Regarding food, cooking at home and buying groceries from supermarkets or local markets usually costs about $220 to $300 for 4 weeks of living. In contrast, eating at casual restaurants ranges from $10 to $15 per meal, while dining at standard restaurants can increase costs to around $20 to $35 or more, especially in the city center. Utility costs for electricity, water, and heating typically amount to about $120 to $180 for a regular billing cycle. A stable home internet connection costs around $45 to $60, while mobile phone plans range from $15 to $30 depending on the service package. Overall, to maintain a relatively comfortable lifestyle in Australia, a single person typically needs about $1,600 to $2,200 per month. If you budget carefully and choose to live further from the center, this amount can decrease to around $1,400. Conversely, with an active lifestyle that includes frequent dining out and travel, monthly expenses can exceed $2,500. Surely, after exploring these 15 amazing facts about Australia, you have gained some insight into the uniqueness of this country. If you found this video interesting, don't forget to like it, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss our future journeys together. Which fact impressed you the most? Please leave a comment below. I would love to hear your thoughts. The information is for reference only, so please do your own research before making any decisions.